Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. In today's video, we're gonna keep working with model signature. So previously in other videos, we were defining the signature of the model by first building the specification for each one of the columns in the dataset. Then we were building the schema, the input schema and the output schema. And finally, we were using the class model signature to create the model signature object, right? Now, in this video, we're going to see how to use this method, infer signature, to infer the signature from the model input and model output automatically without having to define all those specifications. So let's take a look at how we can use this method. So first I'm going to import some, let's say, testing data. Here I'm going to import the iris dataset, or to load the iris dataset, and then here I'm using the infer signature method and providing a sample of the input and the output, right, the target. Now in this case you can notice that I am passing the whole dataset, but this could be just a sample, right? Maybe just the first row, so that MLflow can take a look at the inputs and outputs of the model and infer the signature from there. So let me run this code. And here we can see how MLflow was able to build the signature. We have 4 columns which are mandatory and the outputs, which is the species, right? And for this case there are no parameters. Now let's see how we can let's say use this model signature. Well, here I'm just training a model, right? Logging the model using the scikit-learn flavor, as you can see here. And in this case, I just had to use the signature parameter to provide the model signature that MLflow inferred automatically. So let me run this. And now let me show you this run in the interface. So here, if I refresh this, I can see that there is this new run, log decision tree classifier. I'm going to go to artifacts, and here you can see the schema. We have 4 columns which are mandatory, and the species, which is the target. Let me go back to the notebook. Now, in another video, we saw how to create a model signature considering optional columns, right? So let's see what happens if we try to use infer signature with a data frame that has optional columns. For example, in this case, I'm going to just print this data frame, right? Something like this. And we can see here that we have the 4 columns that are mandatory, and then we have this optional column. Now, if we use infer signature, MLflow will consider that optional column as mandatory. As you can see here, optional column is required, right? Which makes sense because in this way, MLflow doesn't have a way or mechanism to understand which column is optional, right? So instead of providing a data set like this, what we can do is to provide a dictionary, right? And this column should be equals to none. So let's take a look at the example. Here, I'm just transforming this data frame into a dictionary, right? Then I am creating this new key called optional column, and the value is going to be none. So it looks like this, right? So we have the features, the mandatory features or columns, and then I have this, let's say, key, and the value is none, right? And we can use this as let's say, input for the infer signature method, right? So here, when we are using this method, instead of providing the data frame, we provide this new dictionary, and the output is the data frame that we created before. Now let me run this code, and let me print the signature using this method. Now, as you can see here, we have this new column, optional column. The type is any, and it's not mandatory, it's optional, right? So this is how we can define, let's say, an optional column when we are using infer signature method. Instead of providing the full data set, like this, we create like a dictionary, right? We provide like the key, which corresponds to the name of the column, and let's say the first value, right? So MLflow can infer the data type. And for the optional columns, we set none. And in this way, MLflow can infer that this particular key is optional. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching it and see you next time.